welcome you all for Standard 6th subject General Science. Students, we will be doing with chapter number 16, The Universe. My name is Ms. Jagjeet Kaur. Now students, before starting with the chapter, let us see what are the learning objectives. So in this chapter, you all will be understanding about the universe. Also, you will be understanding about stars and the solar system and also about the planets of the solar system. And you will be understanding about dwarf planet, then what are satellites, what are asteroids, then what are comets, and what are meteors and meteorites. Students, now let us understand about the universe. The universe is made up of many galaxies, the space between the galaxies, and energy. A group of countless stars and their planetary systems together form a galaxy. It also includes nebulae, clouds of gases and dust, dead stars, newly born stars, etc. And our own solar system is located in the galaxy named the Milky Way or Mandakini. It is a part of local group of galaxies and there are many such galaxies in the universe. Now students, the types of galaxies are identified according to their shapes and the various types of galaxies are spiral galaxies, elliptical galaxies, bed spiral galaxies and irregular galaxies. And also the galaxy that is closest to the Milky Way is called Andromeda. Now students, the scientist Edwin Hubble showed that there exist many galaxies beyond our Milky Way. In the year 1990, NASA, that is National Aeronautics and Space Administration, which is an American space agency, launched the Hubble telescope in the orbit of the Earth. The Hubble telescope has made it easier to look for stars, to take photographs, and to obtain spectrums. Now, what is spectrum? It is a band of color as seen in a rainbow, produced by separation of the components of light by their different degrees of refraction according to their wavelength. Now, let's learn about stars. A huge cloud made of dust particles and gas in outer space is called a nebula. And nebulae are the birthplace of stars. Stars radiate different colors and display varying luminance. Luminance means brightness. And the color of stars changes according to their temperature. And some of the main types of stars are sun-like stars, red giant stars, supernova, binary stars which are also called as twin stars and variable stars. Now let's understand some of the features of the main stars which are found in the sky. So the first type of the star is sun-like stars. Stars which are slightly bigger or smaller than the sun are called sun-like stars. For example, Sirius and Alpha Centauri. Then next is red giant stars. Stars which are red in color with diameter about 10 to 100 times as that of the sun and whose temperature ranges between 3000 degrees Celsius and 4000 degrees Celsius are called red giant stars. Then the third one is supernova. Stars which are brighter and larger than the red giant stars are called supernova. Now the next is binary stars which are also called as twin stars. Two stars that revolve around each other are called as binary stars or twin stars. Then the next type of star is variable star. Star whose luminance and shape is not stable is called variable star. For example, Polaris, which is also called as pole star. Now students, can you tell that which celestial bodies form the solar system? Yes, the solar system consists of the sun, the planets, the dwarf planet, that is Pluto, satellites of planets, asteroids, comets, and meteors. Now, how many planets are there in our solar system? Correct. There are 8 planets in our solar system, namely Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune. Now, what is to be found between Mars and Jupiter? Yes, very good. A belt of asteroids is found between Mars and Jupiter. So students, now let us understand about our solar system. The solar system consists of the sun, the planets, the dwarf planet, satellites of planets, asteroids, comets, and meteors. And due to the sun's gravitational force, celestial bodies in the solar system revolve around it. And the sun rotates around its axis and also revolves around the center of the Milky Way. Students, now let us have some information about the planets of the solar system. So we begin with Mercury. Mercury is the first planet from the sun, and Mercury is the fastest moving planet. It has no atmosphere and it is visible in the morning and evening only if it is away from the sun. A number of depressions caused by meteoric fall, which look like volcanic crater, can be seen on the surface of Mercury. And also, Mercury has no satellite. Now the next planet is Venus. Now students, Venus is the second planet in the solar system. It is the brightest and the hottest planet in the solar system. It is visible in the sky in the east before the sunrise and in the west after the sunset. Venus rotates from east to west and it has no satellite. So the next planet is Earth. Earth is the third planet in the solar system. Earth is the only planet to have life on it, and Earth behaves as a magnet and diverts the harmful rays coming from the sun towards the polar region of the Earth. And Earth has one satellite, and the name of the satellite is Moon. Now we will learn about the planet Mars. Mars is the fourth planet in the solar system. Mars appears reddish in color as the soil on Mars contains iron. Hence, it is called as the red planet. Olympus Mons, which is the highest and the longest mountain in the solar system, is located on Mars. And Mars has 2 satellites. The next planet is Jupiter. Jupiter is the fifth and the largest planet in the solar system. Even though the planet is large, it revolves around itself with a great speed. It is also called as stormy planet as huge storms occur frequently on it. Jupiter has 64 satellites. The next planet is Saturn. Saturn is the sixth planet of the solar system. It is also the second largest planet in the solar system because of the rings around it. It is considered as a peculiar planet. It has very low density, even though its mass is 95 times that of the Earth, and Saturn has 33 satellites. Now the next planet is Uranus. Uranus is the seventh planet in the solar system. It can only be seen with the help of a telescope. Uranus appears to be rolling along on its own orbit as the planet's axis is greatly inclined. And Uranus has 27 satellites. Now the last planet in the solar system, that is the eighth planet. So Neptune is the eighth planet in the solar system. A season on Neptune lasts for about 41 years. Wind blows with extremely high speed on Neptune, and Neptune has 13 satellites. Now, what are dwarf planets? A celestial body small in size that revolves independently around the sun is called a dwarf planet. A celestial body like Pluto can be classified as a dwarf planet. Pluto takes around 248 years to complete its revolution around the Sun, whereas it takes around 6.38 days for one rotation. And students, there are many more dwarf planets in our solar system. Now let's learn about satellites. The celestial bodies that revolve around a planet without independently revolving around the sun are called satellites. Like planets, satellites rotate around their respective axes. The moon is the satellite of the earth. It does not have an atmosphere. Its periods of rotation and revolution are both of 27.3 days. Except for Mercury and Venus, all other planets have satellites but in varying numbers. Now, what are asteroids? Small-sized bodies that could not turn into planets when the solar system was formed but continued to revolve around the sun are called asteroids. And a belt of asteroids found between Mars and Jupiter also forms a part of our solar system. Students, use your brain power to answer this question, that why do we see only one side of the moon? Yes, the period of rotation and revolution of the moon are both of 27.3 days. This means moon rotates around its own axis with the same speed with which it revolves around the earth. Because of this, the same side of the moon always faces the earth. So hence, we see only one side of the moon. Now answer this question, that which planet has a day longer than its year? Yes, a planet's day is how long it takes to complete one rotation on its own axis. Venus takes 243 Earth days to complete one rotation because of its slow rotation around its axis. A year is the time taken by the planet to complete one revolution around the Sun. Venus completes one revolution around the Sun in 225 days, and this makes a day longer than a year on Venus. Now students, what are comets? Comets are celestial bodies made up of ice and dust particles that revolve around the Sun. It appears point-sized when far away from the sun, but appears to have a long tail as it approaches the sun. Thus, it has a characteristic structure, but its appearance keeps on changing. And it revolves around the sun in its long elliptical orbit. Hence, it reappears in the sky after long periods of time. Comets are classified into long period comets and short period comets. So as we know that the comets are classified into two types on the basis of the time taken by it to complete one revolution around the sun. So the two types of comets are long period comets. So here the comets which take more than 200 years to complete one revolution around the sun are considered as long period comets. And the comets which take less than 200 years to complete one revolution around the sun are considered as short period comets. Example, Halley's comet. It takes 76 years to complete its revolution around the sun. Students, in the past, Fred Whipple, an American astronomer, proposed that comets consist of an icy cluster of various constituents. That is why comets came to be called dirty snowballs. By 1950, Whipple had discovered 6 comets. So now let's understand about meteors and meteorites. Now the rocky pieces originating from the asteroid belt, which get completely burned due to friction with air as they enter the Earth's atmosphere, are called as meteors. Example, a shooting star. And also meteors which do not entirely burn and fall to the surface of the Earth are called meteorites. Example, Lonar Lake in Maharashtra. It is believed that the Lonar Lake in Maharashtra has been formed by the impact of such a meteorite. Meteors or meteorite falls occur on other celestial bodies too. So students, we have come to an end of the chapter. Now let us summarize what we have learned. So we learned that the universe is made up of many galaxies, the space between the galaxies and energy, a group of countless stars and their planetary systems together form a galaxy. It also includes nebulae, clouds of gases and dust, dead stars, newly born stars, etc. A huge cloud made of dust particles and gas in outer space is called a nebula. And some of the main types of stars are sun-like stars, red giant stars, supernova, binary twin stars, variable stars. And the solar system consists of the sun, the planets, the dwarf planet, satellites of planets, asteroids, comets, and meteors. Then we also studied that the sun rotates around its axis and also revolves around the center of the Milky Way. And a celestial body small in size that revolves independently around the sun is called a dwarf planet. And the celestial bodies that revolve around a planet without independently revolving around the sun are called satellites. And small-sized bodies that could not turn into planets when the solar system was formed but continued to revolve around the sun are called asteroids. And comets are celestial bodies made up of ice and dust particles that revolve around the sun. Comets appears point-sized when far away from the sun, but appears to have a long tail as it approaches the sun. And there are two types of comets, that is long period comets and short period comets. So the comets which take more than 200 years to complete one revolution around the sun are long period comets, and the comets which take less than 200 years to complete one revolution around the sun are short period comets. Then we also studied that rocky pieces originating from the asteroid belt, which get completely burned due to friction with air as they enter the Earth's atmosphere, are called as meteors. And meteors which do not entirely burn and fall to the surface of the Earth are called meteorites. Thank you, dear students.